Hello everybody, today we are going to be talking about editing. Editing is a really important skill for us to be able to do, and we've already had some chances in year 2 to have a little go at editing. So my first question to you is, what do you remember about editing? What is it? This might be a good place to pause so you can have a little think as to what you think editing is. So, editing. Editing is where we make an improvement. We're trying to make our things better, trying to improve it so it reads better and it sounds better. And the most important skill that we need to do is to read through and check what we have done. So there's lots of things that we're going to be talking about, and I'm going to be sharing with you some top tips as to what to look for and how to find them. So the first one we're going to look for is capital letters. Now, capital letters are really important, and we often find them at the beginning of sentences. So we have lots of new sentences when we're writing, so it's important to make sure that no matter however we start a new sentence, whatever that word is, it must have a capital letter at the beginning of it. And they look different to our lowercase letters. They are a lot taller, and we need to make sure that we're starting, when we're writing our capital letters, from the top. And we also don't join our capital letters too. We also need to make sure that names of people and places also have capital letters. So the name of your animal will need to have a capital letter. The next thing we're going to be looking for is spelling and sounds in words. So we're trying to think about our digraphs here. So we're going to be making sure that we're reading through, scanning through our work to check that we've used the right sounds in the right places. So we're looking for digraphs, and we also are looking for suffixes, so the endings of words, so like ly, ed, for those words that are in the past tense, meant, less, and full. We know that there are lots of different ways of spelling words and lots of different digraphs that sound the same. So we need to make sure that we've used the correct one. So when you're looking through and checking, just have a little check through to see if that's the correct one. If you're not sure, you can maybe use a dictionary to help you, or you might want to use a sound map just in case so you can check it. The next one we're going to be thinking about is end punctuation. And often when we think about end punctuation, the most common one we're going to be using is a full stop. So we need to be making sure that we've got our full stops in the right places so that we can pause and give the reader some time just to take a breath. And it's a break in our writing. And when we start a new sentence, we must make sure we've got our capital letter after our full stop. But it isn't just full stops that are going to be our end punctuation. We might be using some exclamation marks, which are making things a little bit more exciting. Or you might want to use some question marks to ask someone a question to find out some more information. And when you're writing your question mark, it's really important to make sure you're forming it the right way around. So just double check if you're not sure. So the next skill is reading it back. Okay, and this is a really important skill. The most important question to remember when you're reading through is, does it make sense? If when you're reading it, it makes sense to you, it might be a really good idea to read it back to someone else. So if they can spot any mistakes, or get them to read it and then you read it and then you can compare what you feel. And that's an important skill to remember. So when you're reading it, we're looking for any missing letters. Sometimes it's easy to do. We're really concentrating on what we're writing. Sometimes we might miss some letters or we might miss some words. So it sounds like it's going okay, but actually when we read it back, we may have missing letters or missing words. And that is okay. Editing is a really good skill to do. So if you've made a mistake, don't worry. This is how we learn. It's okay to make a mistake. So here is a piece of writing that I've magpied from Mrs. Del Percho. And this is the piece of writing that she's written about wommegons. So I'm going to read it as it would be accurately. So you may notice already there are some mistakes, and that's okay. We're going to come on to them in a minute. So this is how it reads. I'm going to read the subheading first. How do wommegons behave? Wommegons can be fierce, quick, and cunning. Usually they gallop as fast as a horse, but they can also fly. So you may have already noticed some spelling mistakes in this writing, and that's okay. So we're going to take it step by step. So the first thing that we are going to look for is going to be capital letters. And hopefully you've noticed that there's a capital letter missing at the very beginning of our subheading. So we need a capital H to make sure that we're starting our subheading in the right way. And also, we know that capital letters need to be at the beginning of sentences. So a womagon, or the word womagons, would need a capital letter. Now remember, capital letters are tall letters and they do not join onto the next letter you're writing. Okay, the next thing we're going to be looking for is looking for our phonics and using our phonics to help us with misspelt words. So you'll notice that I've now changed my capital letters so they're all there in the right places. So, quick. It looks okay, but actually we know that quick ends with a curly k and a kicking k, and together they make one k sound. So quick would be spelt like this, and it's just missing the kicking k. Another word that I've misspelt here is the word fast. Again, it looks okay because it's got the R digraph in there, but we know it just has an A. Another word is the word horse. We are missing a really important part of our OR digraph in this word. I wonder if you noticed what it was. Of course, it's the OR digraph, and that's how we correctly spell the word horse. And the word they. It looks okay because it's got the A digraph at the end, but we know that A will need to change onto an E. Okay, now we're going to come on to our end punctuation. You'll notice that I've already changed our spellings. So here we're looking for our end punctuation. Where would be a good place for a full stop or an exclamation mark or a question? I don't think I've asked anyone any questions at the moment. I don't think I need to use any exclamation marks, but it's also good to check just in case. So here is our first end punctuation here, our sentence end here. So this would be a good place for a full stop. Remember, a good place for a full stop is where we need to have a pause and a quick pause for breath. So this is a good spot to have, and I can read it back as many times as I want just to make sure I've got it right there. Womagons can be fierce, quick and cunning. So that would be a good place for a full stop. Another thing that tells me it's a good place is that the word usually already has a capital letter on it. So that would also tell me that this would be a good place for a full stop. And we also know, because it's end punctuation, it has to go on the end of sentences. So I would need one right at the very end to let everyone know that I've finished my sentence. So here we have my complete writing with all of my things checked. And remember, you can use this video as many times as you like. You can pause it, you can watch it back so you can see and look for those things one at a time. If we look for all these things at once, it might be tricky and sometimes we might miss where they are. So just a quick tip, check for your capital letters first, then check your sounds, and then check your end punctuation. If you want to do it in a different order, that's okay too. Also, don't forget, we need to make sure that when we're using our writing, it's cursive, our letters sit on the line. And if you can join your letters together, that would be even better.